The Fireplace. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in the projects tenement, 7 stories high. There was no such thing as a fireplace. We did have an incinerator, which was something that was the end of our hallway, and it was a little chute that we would put our garbage in. It would go down to the basement and it would burn up, and it was called the incinerator. That's as close I came to a fireplace. Fires in Brooklyn were not a pretty thing. It was not a pleasant thing. Fires meant that something was on fire. A house was on fire. A car was on fire. Buildings were on fire. Stores were on fire. When there was fire, there was also fire trucks, fire engines, alarms, ringing of the bells, firemen. That's what I knew in Brooklyn, New York about fires. Now I come to Columbia, South Carolina, and I move into a house that had a fireplace. I thought it was so nice. A fireplace. I could build fires. I only had one problem. I never built a fire. I mean, I wasn't a Boy Scout. I wasn't a Cub Scout. I was not a Ranger. I had never built a fire. I didn't know how to build a fire, but I have a fireplace. So I go outside. I bought a little saw. It was a battery operated saw. I have woods right next to my house, so I'd be cutting down branches. Really not even cutting them down, they're already on the ground. I would just cut them, and bring them into the house. So this one night, I thought it'd be nice to have a fire. My daughter was over, my girlfriend was visiting. And so Georgia and Christine are in the kitchen talking, and I'm in the living room commencing to start my fire in the fireplace, which I thought was a very nice thing. So I got little baby twigs and leaves and newspaper, put that on the bottom. I thought that would be nice to start some fire. And then from the best I could figure was once that started caught on fire, then little bigger things would catch on fire, and then bigger things after that. And then after that, I would have actually logs that would go in this thing, and they would be the long-lasting fire. So, Christina and George are in the kitchen talking. I did this all by myself, and I really was left unsupervised. And usually when I'm left unsupervised, good things do not happen. Well, I get my fire started. The small stuff caught the bigger stuff, which caught the bigger stuff. Now I'm putting logs in, and the logs caught on fire. Oh, it was splendid. It was splendid. I've never saw a prettier fire. And then I was building a little triangle up to the top, and it needed one more log. So I put one more log on top in this fireplace, and that caught on fire. And I was so excited. I had a long bench, like a 5-foot bench, and I had it about 4 feet away from the fireplace. And I'm just looking, I'm thinking, this is so pretty. But then I started feeling selfish. I went, this is so pretty, but I'm the only one that's enjoying this. So I called Georgia and Christina. I said, please come in here. I know you're all talking about something that's important. I'm sure you are. But I think I have something that's even more important. They said, what's that? I said, I didn't want to tell you. Just come in the living room and let your eyes behold. So I had them sit on either side of me. So all three of us now are facing a fireplace that has the fireplace, and then, the screen to keep the fire in there. Then a hearth, and then we had a carpet. I had a carpet. In the living room. It's a brown carpet. So all was going well. I said, you're not gonna believe how pretty this is. And so we're looking, and I was explaining to him how this is why I don't have a gas fireplace, a propane thing. I said, the natural fire is the most wonderful thing in the world. I don't know why everybody doesn't have natural fire. And just as I said that, I heard something crack. It was a crackling in the fireplace. That was not a good thing. The second thing that was not good was that the top log, the last log I put in this little triangle heap thing, rolled off the fireplace, coming toward us. But I thought, no problem, because that's why we got a screen, that little fire screen that's there so that the logs can't get out. No problem whatsoever. Matter of fact, I didn't think nothing about it. Except there was a problem. I forgot to close the screen. So I hear that log cracks, it rolls off, rolls out of the fireplace, onto the hearth, falls off the hearth, rolls onto the bench which we are sitting, and I started screaming. I went, Georgia, Georgia, help! And Christine, my daughter, she said, help, help. And then both of us, we lifting our legs and we lifting our hands. And I don't know what we were thinking, really. I don't know what we were waiting for. Well, Georgia, who comes from the farms of Kentucky, she grabs a log that was on fire and she throws it back into the fireplace. And I thought to myself, is this Joan of Arc or what? Is this the hero of Columbia? I said, after she did that, I said, can I ask you a question? She said, yeah. How exactly, I realize I'm a guy from Brooklyn and don't really deal with burning timbers and trees and logs and stuff. I said, how was it exactly that you picked this log up that was on fire and threw it back into the fireplace without scalding and scorching and burning the skin off of your hands? Can you tell me that, please? She said, I will. She said, if you had ever built a fire before, and if you lived out in the country and you used to build fires in the fireplace, what you would know, she didn't say this, but in my mind I heard her say, Mr. City Slicker. What you would know, she didn't say, that's what I heard, but she didn't say it. She's too polite. What you would know is that the last part of a log to catch on fire is the ends of the log. So if you were paying attention, you would have seen me grab the log by the ends and throw it back in. And the ends were not on fire. I thought to myself, well, I could have known that. I mean, that's not that hard to know. I could have, I might have could have known that if I'd have known that. But I didn't really know it, so I had nothing to base it on. So and now the fire's back in the fireplace, and the screen is closed, and now it's a very pretty fire, crackling, and the smoke, and embers, and oh, it was so pretty. It was like a little fire display. But as I was sitting there, I was thinking this. I thought to myself, if Georgia was not there that night, I could see that the front page of the newspaper that we have in South Carolina here, it would have had a picture of my daughter and I if Georgia was not there. With our hands and feet up in the ground, up off the ground, hands and feet, but two skeletons, charred, house burned down, and the title says, Chaplain and his daughter burn in house fire. That would have been the title. So I think I say this to say, friends, listen, if you don't know what you're doing with fire, fire is good to cook with, fire is good to warm yourself with, but if you don't really know much about fire, don't leave yourself unsupervised without someone who knows what they're doing with fire, because although fire could be our best friend, it could have been my worst enemy. However, I just happened to be sitting next to a farm girl who knew these things. What do I know? I'm a city slicker. And I'm still here. How, I don't know. I really don't. But I'm still here. So what do I say is this, my friends? I say, this is Paul signing off. Until next time, may God richly bless you. See you next time. Bye.